I watched my mother cry over my coffin while I was still alive. They sang my burial songs. They planned my funeral. But what happened next shocked everyone and proved that God still interrupts death. Watch till the end. This story will revive your faith and remind you that it's never over until God says so. My name is Danielle Brooks. And this is not a metaphor. I literally attended my own burial. Please, take a second to subscribe, like, comment, and share. The morning I left Atlanta, Georgia, the sky was calm. Too calm. I remember hugging my mother, Margaret Brooks, a little longer than usual. She touched my face the way mothers do when their hearts are uneasy. "Call me when you arrive," she said. "I will," I smiled. I was 24, full of hope, traveling to Dallas, Texas for a new job interview. My chance to finally help my parents and start fresh. I boarded the intercity bus with my backpack, headphones, and silent prayers. "God, please go with me," I whispered. I didn't know that prayer would be tested so violently. Somewhere on the interstate in Louisiana, everything changed. A loud horn, a sudden swerve, a scream from behind. Then, impact. Metal screamed louder than humans. Glass exploded. The world flipped. And then, nothing. No pain, no sound, no body. When I opened my eyes, I was standing on the highway. The bus was destroyed. People were crying, crawling, bleeding. Sirens screamed in the distance. Then I saw a body being pulled from the wreck. My body. I tried to run. I tried to scream. Nothing. That was when fear wrapped its hands around my soul. "God," I cried. "Please." And I heard him, not with my ears, but deep inside me. "You are not finished, Danielle." Back in Atlanta, my father James Brooks answered the phone. Minutes later, my mother was on the floor. Authorities said I was unrecognizable. My purse was found near the crash. My ID was inside. That was enough. My parents didn't question it. Who would? I was declared dead. Our home filled with people wearing black. Food arrived, untouched. Tears flowed endlessly. A casket was ordered. My name was engraved on it. And I watched everything. I stood beside my mother as she cried into the coffin, calling my childhood nickname. I watched my father stare at the wall, broken beyond words. "I'm here," I cried. "I'm alive." But heaven was the only place my voice could reach. The night before the burial, a woman from church arrived, Sister Evelyn Carter. She looked at the coffin, and shook her head. "She's not dead," she said quietly. The room went silent. "Everything says she is," someone replied. Sister Evelyn knelt by the coffin anyway. "God," she prayed, tears falling, "if Danielle Brooks is still breathing anywhere, let this funeral be interrupted." The atmosphere changed. I felt hope for the first time. The church in Atlanta was full. Songs of sorrow filled the air. My parents sat in front, empty and defeated. As the pastor began to speak, the doors flew open. A young man shouted, breathless, "Stop! She's alive!" Gasps, screams, confusion. She was found alive in a small hospital outside Baton Rouge. "She's waking up." My mother collapsed. My father cried like a child. And at that exact moment, I opened my eyes. I had been thrown from the bus and rescued by locals who thought I was already gone. I had no phone, no identification. I was unconscious for days. But God preserved me. While my funeral was being planned, God was keeping me alive. Today, I tell this story with tears and gratitude. I attended my own burial. I watched people conclude my life was over. I watched death announce victory. But God said no. And when God says no, graves pause, funerals stop, and life returns. If you're watching this and your situation feels buried, if people have already given up on you, remember this. My grave was ready. My coffin was paid for. But God still had plans. And so do you. It's not over until God says it is.